salt.
Obviously, we've got a spicy topic we're dealing with. So, you know, this is definitely not going to be monetized. So we needed a sponsor. We're very fortunate to have Bumblebee Tuna. Bumblebee Seafood partnered with Ripaverse Comics to give you the coolest food-based promotional superheroes since Combo Man. Alpha Core.
Bumblebee Foods and 2 employees are now charged after a California worker was cooked in an industrial oven with tons of tuna.
Based on albacore tuna. Solid white, just like the Ripaverse fan base.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's all I could think whenever I learned the name of this fucking superhero team in his Eric July's comic. It's like because I eat a lot of tuna. You know, it's kind of my go-to. Like, I need to eat some protein, something tasty. I'll throw it in some rice and veggies. You know what I mean? And
I had tuna pasta today.
And so I just like, Perp, yes, I got you, you son of a bitch.
Yes, it's real.
But like, I just can imagine him like he's like, man, I told everybody I'm gonna have the greatest comic book ever, and I can't even think of a name for this superhero team. And he's like opening a can of tuna. It's like, oh, I got it, you know.
Wait, so is Alpha Core an actual thing from his comics?
Yeah, that's the name
Alpha
of
Core's in the comics.
Okay, cool.
You said comics plural. There's one.
Alpha.
Right.
One.
Honey, I can't think of a badass name for my super team. How about name them Alpha Core? Yeah, like what is this color, man? You know, I'm not
green. He's
I'm
all
not
about
like
that
a
green.
color theorist or anything, but this is just such a weird.
As someone who likes green, that doesn't even work for me. It just blah.
As the non-comic kid here, aren't comics supposed to either jump at you or be kind of dull in like almost a black and white nature and not kind of like muted like this? Am I wrong in thinking that?
If you're working in
everything
full color,
about that story was
which
muted.
this comic is supposedly doing, there's no reason to do muted colors unless it's like, I don't know.
Camouflage for a swamp.
See, Reggie, Sketchy Got Hands, he's an artist, and there's new texture.
Yeah,
it does have some texture just because this is actually a picture of the comic and not a digital screen. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but Comicsgate, Ripaverse, those guys, they don't believe in digital comics.
That's right. Yeah.
Which
you gotta order it.
I don't know if you realize how fucking that's basically like being like, I'm gonna make movies, but I'm not gonna use the internet.
Be sure to subscribe to my Twitter newspaper.
Yeah, my Twitter newspaper or my VHS catalog that I'll come rent a VHS of my movies. I don't know.
Honestly, I think it's probably a good thing that God didn't give me good drawing abilities, because I would not have been able to prevent myself from giving that middle guy the biggest bulge in the world in that photo.
He certainly seemed like he got a bit of a zoop.
Yeah, his eyes are the stuff of dreams, right? And there's no bulge. Like, what's that about?
Yeah, that's a
like, don't show him from that angle if you're not going to go all the way.
Yeah, at just a weird angle. Yes, to.
Excuse me. Your balls are showing. Bumblebee tuna.
Look what they did to him. Give
Alpha Core
his penis back. Zoop, zoop.
I had to drop it, but it's like goddamn, it takes time to load.
So actually, we already covered several of the Ripaverse cards. There's a couple I didn't have when we talked about them. We can look at those real quick, and then I'll just add those into the upload, if you guys don't mind.
Oh yeah, no,
I can't wait for these Stale ass names.
We looked at several of them. There, by the way, there's 11 cards total, and they were $100 for the set.
Oh my
11.
God! What you said? 11, right?
Big Spinal
11.
Tap fan.
11
Wow.
entire, yeah, giant. You get a lot of cards, man, for $100. You know, wait,
That's
cards
like
that doesn't seem right.
$9 each.
No, they're apparently like 5 by 6 or something.
6.9. They're 5 by
literally
6.9.
one pack. That's one pack of cards right there.
0.3 inches.
So they're more like a small portrait, photo size, but not quite. And okay, like, so I've read I know you've read the entirety of Isom, Bob. I've read 30, 35 pages or so. So is Perp, 20, 25. I don't remember. And after reading it, I was like, okay, look, I can see this being just a misguided attempt at writing comic books. Like, I didn't necessarily think, based on the writing, that Eric is an idiot, believe it or not. Like, it's just like, you don't really understand what people read comics for, or the kind of what makes comics exciting, or why comics is a special medium. And you kind of wrote it like there's just nothing exciting about it, nothing compelling. And then, but I still wouldn't have been like, God, he's such an idiot for how he wrote this comic.
Yo,
he is a fucking idiot based on how he wrote these cards.
He's got that watered down Walmart store brand mystery box element to him with the way he writes things, and it's just like,
Well, I don't even think it's mystery box. I think he doesn't understand. Like,
I don't understand it.
that conversation I had with him on Twitter when I asked him, what's his character motivations. He did not seem to understand what I was talking about, because all he could give me was family and pride.
well,
And I'm like,
these cards,
fuck?
which are supposed to be like what the comic equivalent of DLC, it even says in certain of them, there's a couple of them where it's like, I don't know where this power comes from. What the fuck did I spend $100
Pretty much all
for
of them
then?
are like that, dude.
yeah.
Pretty much all of them have some element of like, well, here's a very specific thing, but then this other thing that's not so specific, I don't know anything about it. And it's like, well, who are you? Why are you giving information on this? So this one, Yaira, she's the one that, Bob, I don't know if you remember, she just flies into our hero Isom in the middle of the air after he got thrown into the sky by another guy in a completely separate fight. And then just apparently in this world, you throw somebody into the sky and they will collide with somebody who's flying by. Just like
It was a very engaging comic book. I was really in
so her age is eluding me. But this is just the first sentence, man. Her age is eluding me, but she does appear ancient. Like, no, she doesn't.
That's just height.
No,
That's
she just
tall.
looks like a woman. Yeah.
She's tall. I mean, she's kind of thick, I guess, but like, all right. And then this is what I mean by stupid, man. Like, this is just, I don't know how nobody caught this. So she does appear ancient, perhaps more so than I have.
What do you have? You have appearance, or
what?
what?
I don't. You have ancient. What do you have, man? Not all of your cognitive faculties, apparently.
He means age. He has age.
Just this. It's written like somebody who just is really trying hard to sound like they have something interesting to say when they don't.
Yeah.
It's
Wait,
pretentious.
is this like an actual thing that has been like released?
And
Yes,
sold.
yeah.
Yes.
People paid $100 for cards, like 11 of these cards. They're big cards, and I guess maybe apparently the stock is really quality too, but it's still none of it's worth $100.
I thought maybe this was like his like personal notes that he had like shown a screenshot of.
I think this is probably his personal notes that he just verbatim copied and posted, slapped on these cards or something. And
it makes no sense. And
yeah. Again, as somebody who's written stuff professionally, these feel like post-it notes that like are the ground level. This is not something that you would just say, all right, it's done, and throw it out there. Like, these are proof of concept, if anything, not like background story.
Well, so what my honest read of what these are? Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, reading the book and like talking to him, I don't think he has any idea about any of these characters.
Yeah.
I think he's just pulling it out of his butt as he writes the books. He just does not know.
That's basically so I think that the reason these cards exist and the reason that they are like this is based on, like Bob said, he doesn't have it planned out yet, but he wanted to build hype around the lore and the characters and have people thinking that, this is going to be something substantive that can compete with, established, beloved fucking characters that he's, piggybacked on the back of talking shit for years. And now he wants to act like I'm making a comic and out of the blue and everybody wants to read it without acknowledging the fact that he wouldn't have been able to do this without talking about Marvel consistently. Anyway, so
while using the love child of the Grim Reaper and Mumra.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of Crypt Keeper, whatever. As I said on Twitter, it's like looks like a door decal, a Halloween door decal you'd buy and slap on the door for Halloween.
You're right. Oh my god.
Like, we need a Halloween decoration. Oh, this shit, fine, whatever.
Just throw that in my door, fuck it.
So it seems like during the process of getting the the campaign ready to launch the book, which he didn't have planned out. You can tell reading that first issue that he doesn't know what the character is about, what the character can do. If he did, then he would have teased it in some way that you could spot and go, okay, I see where this might, or you at least have something to hang on to. There's nothing, man. Bob, I don't know if you felt the same way, but
yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna go ahead and compare it to a classic comic book, normal length comic book too. Amazing Fantasy number 15. Was Spider-Man the whole story? I think he might have been the whole story, but he might have only been part of that issue. But in those pages, you get a motivation for Peter Parker, why he's doing stuff. But you also get a complete power set for him. You pretty much know the character at the end of that comic book. That's his whole origin right in that book. That's the whole Uncle Ben dies. I could have stopped it, but I didn't because of selfish reasons. That's everything in that book. You know that character at that book. Isom number 1 is 96 pages. I can't tell you shit about the character of Isom.
Dude, she's
and he's the main character.
Archaeologist in occupation, but she's most recently been a consultant for Projexis.
I could just imagine one of like a fan of Eric July or something getting this and being so like, oh, this is going to destroy woke comics, right? And then giving it, lending it to one of his other friends who likes comic books but who doesn't know about any of the anti-woke stuff, and he's like, oh, this is the best comic you'll ever read. And the I just really want to see a conversation like that of the friend being like what
happened. I would love
what the
to see
fuck
that
is this?
conversation, though.
So I can imagine that there's got to be some number of people who were into oh yeah, I want to see what he can do. And then whether they're comics fans or not prior, because a lot of them aren't. You can look online and see a lot of the people talking about the ones that bought it that oh, I haven't bought comics before at all, or I haven't bought them in decades or whatever. Of course, at the same time, he wants to act like he's somehow competing with Marvel and DC. And it's like, you're not taking from the same pool, man. You're monetizing completely different type of, purchaser. I imagine there's a certain number of people that got the book, read it, and were just like, is this it? Is this, and then they don't want to admit to themselves, they don't want to admit out loud anyway, because of the sunk cost, right? They've probably been Eric July fans. They've maybe been pushing this book for however long he's been promoting it and thinking it's going to be the next big thing. But then there's just that gnawing itch in their mind. It's like, this isn't good.
Just reading this bio question mark, every sentence that follows the one before it almost seems like it's contradictory and vague on every front. It just seems really confusing. Isn't this supposed to be explaining the characters? And I have even more questions. And I've seen her kill a small armies of men, yet she doesn't seem quite evil. What?
Yeah,
What are
but
you
either way,
talking
she's
about?
dangerous.
It's like both trying to make her almost an anti-hero, but also just there's maybe some misogyny coming through where you can't help but imply that this woman is dangerous, and not evil but dangerous. Every relationship seems short-lived and tactical. That seems like projecting some feelings or something.
And consultants, it takes a lifetime of study to be a consultant.
Yep.
Just remember that.
Yeah.
No matter what you're a consultant as.
I guess, well, as a biologist, so.
Dude, this is like third grade understanding of occupations.
I'm willing to bet that we can find, if anybody in chat or any of you guys want to do a little side research and find if there's anybody that is both a biologist and an archaeologist without having lived 2 lives, that'd be interesting to find out.
One thing I would like to add is that this thing says her first appearance was in ISM #1, April 2022.
They all say that, yeah.
It did not come out in April. What was it?
No,
late
that's when
September,
the
early
campaign
October?
launched. I noticed that too.
Mm.
It's everything about this guy and everything that he does
that makes
is
these rare. Resale
everything
value.
he does is astroturfed, right? Like everything has the facts and the truth on it kind of distorted just a little bit, at least a little bit, to kind of give it a more of an air of legitimacy, right? Like, so whenever he says, "Oh, we made $3 million on one issue," when was the last time Marvel did that or whatever? And it's like, okay, but Marvel also puts out like 100 books a month every single month.
Marvel also doesn't charge $30 a book.
They don't charge $30+ depending on which version you get. And then he's not going to release another issue until, as he said it, the first quarter of 2023, which, as I pointed out, I've never heard just a comics fan or creator talk about comics releasing in terms of fiscal quarters.
Yeah. But apparently they're doing 3 comic books in the entire Ripaverse for over the next year. And I'm like,
wow.
That's one of the things I brought up to him. It's like, most most comic book companies can release a book every month. Just gonna point that out there.
Let me see if I can get Alex Ross to do him a favor.
Okay. Nimble here's got some context for us. 6 years, got a master's. If I got 2 PhDs, he'd spend 20 years studying. That's not. It's not quite 2 lifetimes.
A lifetime is 10 years.
Well, if you're a dead 10-year-old, then sure, it's 2 lifetimes.
So this is the guy that thinks he's the master of fucking canon, right? And continuity and shit. And it's like, God damn, he pisses me off.
I want to send him a thesaurus, to seem like I know grifters on the movie end that overcompensate with big words, and that is just not the case here. Like somebody said in the chat that he uses the word seam.
True.
It's
yeah. Like he's using
an attempt at ambiguity.
He's using theme for nuance to
right, exactly. Shrouded mystery.
It reads exactly like a teenager, like a 12-year-old or something, who's sitting there going, I want this character to sound really smart and wise, so they seem blah, blah, blah. That's the kind of word that a wise character would say, but then at the same time he doesn't fucking know anything. Yeah, did you guys read this part yet? When her powers are activated, her hair and fingertips turn bluish.
I love that power.
She has a constant whirlwind that surrounds her, which could explain her flight. Icicles seem to grow from her pores.
That's all over your body.
Can she control which pores, or just all over? Just
do they seem to, or do they? You know what I mean?
Seems. Ooh, seems.
Bluish. Everything is just non-committal. It's blue-ish. Icicles seem
even the color.
That's what
just non-committal on everything.
How do you not know it's blue? It's a turquoise. Say that or some shit.
Well, I was really far away, so I
Yeah. So speaking to the seams thing, and then just other terms that he uses, it's constantly undermining its own authority on this, right? It seems. I'm not sure. She doesn't quite seem. I've seen her kill armies of men, but seems she doesn't have any known allegiances, certainly isn't a hero. I actually do feel like I understand this character less now.
This is atrocious writing, genuine, it does less for the character than whatever the target of this little project is.
Do you think he's going to do one of these Well, yes. Do you think he's good? Do you think he's gonna do like update this every time?
That would be awesome.
Well,
Because like he's
The
made
next
this
card set
with
is 12 cards, so it's 200.
because like he's made this with no like he doesn't know what any of his characters are.
Yeah.
Like real name unknown. She's gone as several names. Oh, well, what are they? You idiot! Like birthplace unknown. She can't be from Earth.
So
Okay, what does that mean?
Update. It is blue. I figured it out. It's blue. It's 3355662 on Photoshop. That
like
color
the
blue.
the greenish kind of threw me off at first, but no, it's definitely blue. By the way,
icicles indeed do not come from her pores, so it's good that I wrote seams because that was wrong.
There are 5 million pores on the human body. 20,000 of those on the face.
Yeah.
Icicles.
Like,
can you imagine icicles flying off of those? Whatever.
Just basically frost.
Power to the people. Bluish, man. Are you paying attention? Come on.
Listen, he's really original. In fact, when she reaches her ultimate power level, her hair is going to turn yellow, and it's going to be called her super stance. And, they're going to talk about how she's gone super stance. This is original stuff, guys.
How does she activate
color TBD
her powers?
Whichever way, you know what I bet it is. It's like I'm not sure which color is going to end up being cheaper to print. So
what looks shitty on paper?
Yeah.
Mud green. I'll go with that.
Yeah, imagine let's use Spider-Man as just the comparison, right? The standard of like Spider-Man's age is eluding me, but he does appear to be a teenager. Perhaps more so than I have. I've been keeping up with him longer than any other subject. He has a knowledge base that exceeds those who appear very elderly. I don't know. It's
birthplace. Not Tennessee.
He seems to swing upon these webs that he shoots out from his hand, seemingly.
But could this be string as well? Could be tiny ropes.
Perhaps he's a descendant of Tarzan. It seems.
How can you possibly, and we talked about this, I'm currently editing that stream, the video out of it, Bob, where you and I talked about Jim and people, how they can be so confident, right? Mm-hmm. And yet the simple fact is, when it comes to comics and narrative and character,
I don't understand it. How many times?
I love The Last Jedi. We're really not affiliated with Geeks and Gamers as far as I'm concerned, and I really just want to make that clear.
Yeah, what is the most recent Japanese film you enjoyed so far?
See, a lot of them would be older ones, like Old Boy, for example. Yeah, probably stuff like that. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, I really like that. But yeah, it's...
I've already told that little son of a bitch. I don't understand it.
Bring organized chaos. So
this leak continued.